It's good to see you guys. A lot of new faces in here, so it's nice to meet you. You're part of a great team. I live in the Bay Area, but I'm from Nevada originally, so I always claim it as my home state. I still have my Nevada driver's license, so I'm always happy to come down and do stuff with this team. I'm very passionate about the industry being better marketers, so that's what I talk about. I don't have any agenda, whether you take your phone out and do something with it in terms of recording yourself, talking about the market, putting out a video. It's entirely up to you. It saved my career, and I've been in the business for 24 years. I was ready to quit 16 years in. You would think I'd have some credibility in the marketplace, but I didn't. I had zero. I was worth nothing more than the rate sheet that I showed up with to open houses and the donuts. I always came with good donuts. That was it. So that was it. I was only worth that. I needed to do something to kind of turn it around, change the narrative, and went all in on social. But really, what this comes down to, and it's the theme for today, guys, that everybody has control over, it's visibility. That's it. If you don't do another deal the rest of the year, okay, think about that for a second, aside from the financial calamity it would cause. But if you don't do another deal the rest of the year, and you could only control how visible you are, would you do it? Especially knowing that in 2026, that's going to be the only thing that'll carry your business, is how visible you are. Everybody has direct control over how visible they are. We like to think that we can control who's going to work with us, but we don't, right? We can't. We all know, and you guys have done this as agents. You'll work 98, 98.5, 99% of the deal, taking them to stuff, spending time with them, talking to their parents, talking to their uncle, talking to their financial advisor, talking to their neighbor who's retired as a real estate agent but knows more than you. And then all of a sudden, the day before you write the offer, you'll get a text or an email from him saying, my brother-in-law just got his license last month and I have to write this with him. Has anyone had this happen? Only a couple heads. None of you? I hope it never happens. Okay? On the lending side, it happens all the time. You have no control over who's going to work with you. Right? I joke about this all the time, and it applies, and some of you have heard me say it many times. Okay? Indians will drop their own relative who's doing their loan for 1/8 of a point to go to a different bank. They'll do it. Okay? I'm Indian, so I can say it, and I've had it happen to me. I'm not just saying that because I'm an Indian and I know that's the way the markets work. It's actually happened to me. A cousin of mine that moved over here from the UK, I helped him get into his house. Okay? He had resident status, so he's only in a property that did really well in the East Bay, up there in the Bay Area, because of me. Helped him fix his credit. Then it was time for him to move up into a different house. Had everything all done, and because he had a really good liquidity event that happened at Grubhub. He worked there, and Grubhub went public around that time, did really well. Had a lot of money. His bank offered him 1/8 of a percent lower than what I could, and he dropped me for it. Cousin. We haven't spoke since, okay? It was a few months ago. We can go to the next one. Next slide there, Haley. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a pep talk for those that need it on the market, and then we'll get to real talk. Fair enough? Some people might need the pep talk, but a little bit about me. So I competed for Team USA for the national taekwondo team for a long time, 7 years, but I coached for 10, which was the greater gift and privilege. And I just stepped down about a little over a year ago. But last month, I was telling Susan this, last month I got asked by some of my former athletes if I'd be crazy enough to go to Barcelona for the World Championships and help coach a few of the guys and just be there for them. So I couldn't turn it down. I asked my wife. She said, you're nuts, but if you want to go, go. So I literally went for 50 hours. I flew on a Thursday, landed Friday morning, went straight to the arena, didn't even have time to be jet lagged, coached all day Friday, all day Saturday, flew home Sunday, and I was back for dinner. It's nuts. I don't recommend anyone doing it. But the thing that I love being around high performers and high achievers, because there's a lot of parallels between business and sports, right? That's why all of us love listening to an athlete talk about their struggles or hearing about Tom Brady's chip on his shoulder. And that worked out pretty well for him, right? Operating with a chip on his shoulder. But the two things that I learned watching all these athletes from 50 countries, you know, competing for something that they've been training for years, sometimes their entire lives. One is that they're obviously very resilient. They're mentally tough. Now, we hear mental toughness all the time, but it applies to what we need for our markets here in business. My definition of it, which I got from a football coach, which was that you are your best regardless of circumstance. Mental toughness doesn't mean that because things are bad, you just ignore it or you act like it's not happening. You can absorb it, you can feel it, but you still be your best regardless of circumstance. You still show up in this market regardless of the lack of inventory. You still take buyers out and tell them that this is not the world's worst time to buy, in spite of the fact that interest rates are elevated. You guys get where I'm going with it? You still have to be your best no matter what. The other thing that I got from them was that every single person there that ended up winning, the one common trait that they had with them, even if they ended up on a podium with a bronze, silver medal, whatever it was, they had absolute certainty in themselves. They had belief. Now you have to believe in what it is that you do. If you don't, none of this matters. They'll see it when you put up the video, when you send out the email newsletter, when you take them out to go look at homes, when you walk through a home. If you don't believe in this asset class 100%, if you think that the sky is going to maybe fall, if you do think that the market's starting to crack, if you don't think that you're good at this, if you don't think that you have enough to offer, if you don't think Las Vegas is a great city to live in, just 1 ounce of it, and they'll see it and smell it on you the way a shark smells blood in the water, and you're dead. Okay? You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the market. You have to believe in the asset class. If you don't, please don't talk to another client until you're good with it. Okay? I'll tell you can get there. I'm not going to tell you you're right if you don't believe it. That just might be your narrative or what you're choosing to accept at the time. We all know the sky is not falling. This market is in many ways is working just fine for those that are choosing to work it. Some people are having their best years. That sounds crazy. Some people might say, that's insulting to me. No, I'm serious. Some people are having their best years in this market right now that people deem a terrible market. It's just belief, okay? There has to be belief in what it is that you do. So if you don't have it, figure out what it is. You guys have access to great coaching here with Chris that's in-house. You have a fantastic broker that has seen, or an owner of the brokerage that has seen so many different market cycles. Talk to people. Figure out what you need to do to reconcile it, and then get after it. Okay. State of the market here in Vegas. But before, is it a little bit of a delay? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start talking faster, and then, well, I'll point to you first, and then I'll say, okay, we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out. Okay. State of the market down here in Vegas, or Clark County, let's say, because some people work different parts. I shouldn't say Vegas, right? There's Henderson, like it's fragmented. It's segmented. What is the state of the market here in Vegas now, guys? Just speak up, anybody. Tell me, what's going on? Whether it's a word, a quick phrase, a sentence, could be positive, negative, challenging, whatever it is. Just what's going on?
I feel like buyer hesitancy.
Buyer hesitancy, absolutely. That's consistent in almost every market. Rich and I were talking about that this morning. There's 2 narratives going on, which I'll get into. What else?
I see activity picking up.
Okay, there's activity, okay? People are getting off vacation mode and re-engaging. Okay, what else? Give me something negative.
I think that because there's so many houses, buyers want to look at everything and they're not making as quick of a decision as they would have.
Too many things to choose from.
Yeah, too many.
So there's a lot of inventory
Just in some of the prices.
in some price points. Okay, so there's too much to choose from. So they're getting analysis paralysis, like, okay, not acting quick enough. What else?
Sellers not motivated.
Sellers aren't motivated, okay? How about like they're also unrealistic? Some of them think it's like 20. Anything else?
The big aspect between buyers and sellers, and buyers are hearing that rates are coming down, so they want to wait, because why would they want to lock you down when they can wait 3 months?
Okay, so they feel, yeah, there's no harmony there between both sides. Okay, guys, we read stuff in the media. This number is very important. Okay, we read stuff in the media all the time, and then we try and apply it as a one-size-fits-all, either case study or bit of news when we talk to clients. There is no national housing market. Okay, there are 635 micro markets. Las Vegas, Clark County, Henderson, these are all micro markets. And every market is independent and has its own story of what's going on. So we need to tell clients, all of us need to, if you do nothing else from this talk today, guys, just start conveying to clients that whatever they read nationally is part of the national narrative, but there's a very local narrative that's going on. There are some markets that are completely tearing right now. They're on absolute fire. And then there's some that are completely dead. Dead meaning like there's no transactions, prices are in like a free fall. 2 completely different worlds, but that's all part of the United States market. So when we see stuff on headlines from like on CNBC, good, don't. It's useless. Okay? I was going to make an example of her, but I don't even need to go there now because nobody actually listens to her. But the short of it is, She puts out stuff on the national level because she's paid to as a real estate correspondent. But it's always negative stuff. Why? Because bad news sells. And it helps CNBC's ratings. People tune in, they buy the fear, they get into the doom gloom, they go down the rabbit hole, and that's it. But it has nothing to do with what's going on. So, next slide, back to the local market. What's happening here, what you guys just named, some of you were thinking of some, you just didn't want to say it, or maybe you were, now maybe it's come to you after the fact. What's happening here is very different than what's going on in the Bay Area, right? And San Francisco, the Bay Area, I should say, is even fragmented even more. You've got the peninsula, you've got the San Jose market, you've got Marin County, where I live, you have the city itself, you have further up north, the East Bay, like they're all very different and operating with very different behaviors right now. So just focus on what's going on here. Let's go to the next one. Two narratives. I ran into Rich this morning when we were at Starbucks and we were talking about this. There's two narratives. There's the national media, which wants you to believe that either the sky is falling, this is a terrible time to buy, interest rates are too high. They will use that. They are too high, okay? Using that exact word. There's too much inventory. There's too much uncertainty. The economy is about to collapse, okay? The tariffs are going to kill us. We're heading for communism. Whatever it narrative, right? The other side of it, like locally speaking, perhaps is that something else is shifting. There's some that believe this economy is about to go on an absolute tear, all right? As soon as we get a little bit more data, and I'm in that camp. I'm in that camp that believes that this economy is about to go on an absolute tear. As soon as we get in a little bit more data, you've got the Fed that's about to potentially cut rates here in September. That's pretty much 95% in the betting markets say it's going to be, okay? That there'll be a rate cut. Now that doesn't always impact mortgage rates. We'll talk about that, but still it's a perception thing. So there's that. You have a lot of tax cuts now that have come into play, right? Employers are just waiting to start hiring. They just want to see what the market's going to do, and that rate cut might actually be the thing that pushes it over the edge. So the economy could actually go on a tear. Media is saying this, but there's two completely different narratives. So we have a gap between this side and that side. Now, clients will believe what you sit, you aren't talking, and Darren, you said you felt like a little bit, there's been a little bit of a slip off of everyone talking about things right now. If we sit silent, guys, as an industry, then people are going to believe one of these two, okay? Probably the negative, because that's what people like to do. They're addicted to negativity, right? We're all drama kings and drama queens, okay? Everyone goes down those rabbit holes. But everybody has to speak up and actually dispel what's going on here. Okay, here's two major headlines that came out in the last few months, one of which I commented. If you follow me, I talked about this one with my daughter. I filmed a video with her. She's 6. She's a pro, okay? You can see it. It was a little bit of a skit. She's good at remembering her lines, okay? But we talked about this, that housing remains the weakest part of the economy. If you read this headline, why would you buy a house, right? This is categorical bullshit. They're saying this just from a transaction count, right? Yes, we're in a transaction gridlock in this country. Everyone knows that, okay? There's no surprise. Does anyone actually believe that housing could be the weakest sector in the economy when you think about it? So here's what I did. I recorded a couple of videos on this, and please take it and steal it, type it up in a newsletter. If you don't want to do video, record your own video, or if you're having a little buyer's consult, say it every time. The impact of a singular housing transaction on the economy is unlike any other asset class. Think about it. A home is sold. Seller gets their money, buyer comes in, right? Real estate agents were involved. They get paid. We all know real estate agents love to spend money. They go out and spend the money. That money goes into the economy. Some save it, some invest it, some spend it. A lender was involved, okay? We don't make as much money, right? But we do the deal, okay? We spend the money. Appraisers, inspectors are hired. They go out, they are actually making money. Movers are hired. Landscapers are brought in. Furniture is purchased. Services are subscribed to. You guys see this ripple effect that it has from one singular transaction? So to say that this is going to be the weakest sector of the economy is just plainly looking at transaction counts. The media oversimplifies it because it's easy to connect a negative narrative. Transactions are down, weak sector. Transactions are down, but what are those few transactions that are happening, even if we just look at one? I explained this to a client the other day, just talking to them. They instantly calmed down when they thought about it. The sky is not falling. We just have to explain things. Now, this requires us to be a little bit more engaged and think, and, wait for it, we have to operate like business owners. We can't just do deals. We have to get under the hood and look at what's happening. Read beyond the headline. Understand this. Restore faith in what it is that we're doing and recognize, again, that this is not all going to shit. This one, contentious jobs report confirms the U.S. economy is slowing sharply. Now, I put both of these up because these are negative headlines, and it's not called spin, guys, in the way of manipulating it. I call it translating it. So what I just did with that negative one was translate it. You see what I did with it? So you guys can all do the same thing. Take any headline that you see that's negative and retranslate it. Copy and paste it, put it into your email newsletter, and say, this article came out, I want to tell you why you should actually read this a little closer. I want to tell you why this is wrong. I want to tell you why I disagree with it. Explain it to people. There's your email newsletter. Put a couple of bullet points in there. That's very informative. That's better news and market data than they're going to get going anywhere else. Would you guys agree? Even if they don't buy right now, you at least quelled their fears and like, I get it. You do this enough, they're going to see you as the news authority. They're going to see you as like, you know what, I trust him or her, not just because he's got an awesome shirt on, which he does, but because he speaks the truth and he always speaks optimistically, and I get it. He's clear about it. He doesn't have an agenda. Yes, I know he's a real estate agent and he wants to sell a home, but he's spitting it to me real. You guys get what I'm saying with this? Same thing with this. Here, what's the spin on this, the positive spin on this? It's hard to find it, right? This all but guarantees that you're going to have an interest rate cut. Okay? This all but guarantees. So yes, there's a July jobs report that came out that was a little bit kind of wonky, but this pretty much makes it certain that we're going to have an interest rate cut from the Fed. Now, why is that? I'm going to just explain this in real simple layman's terms because the average agent, no one in here is average because you're part of a great brokerage and team. The average agent out there is going to say when the Fed does cut rates in September, better get out there and buy. You better get out there and buy. The last time there was a Fed rate cut, which was it a year ago, I think? It was when they did the 50 basis point cut. It might have been over a year ago. It was over a year ago because it was before the election cycle happened. Biden was still in office. So yeah, they did a 50 basis point cut, half point, not 25, which is normal. They did a 50. Did you know that mortgage rates skyrocketed that day? They went up. They're not the same thing, okay? But let's translate it for people. The Fed rate, what they control, the federal funds rate, that rate impacts credit cards, and we happen to have record high debt in this country, $1 trillion. So there's going to be some relief there in terms of people's minimum payments and the finance charges that they're accruing. It affects student loans. It affects personal loans. It affects auto loans. So there's going to be some relief there. Yes, there's a bit of a trend, and sometimes mortgage rates will follow what the Fed does. Initially, sometimes there's an opposite reaction, and then it catches up. If you explain this to people, you'll be smarter than the other 100 agents, because everyone knows at least a good few hundred agents that they've talked to, or what people are putting out there. And again, you will start to be seen as this news authority. I will trust you more because that makes sense. Does that make sense to everyone? I try to keep it really simple. Hey, I only operate in simple terminology, so that's the way I like to explain it. We don't have to talk over their heads or sound uber educated or use big words. Keep it simple. Meet them on their level. Recognize that everyone is scared shitless. They're confused. They're hearing so many different things. Just clarify it for people. But I just wanted to give you guys these two examples of what are negative headlines and that there's a translation for it or it means something else. There's an opportunity in every market cycle, guys. When the sky was falling in 08, Darren, how many people do you know literally remade, well, I wasn't one of them because I lost my ass in 08 with all the houses I owned and I had to unload. How many people remade their financial future for the next generation by scooping up houses during it? That was a terrible time to buy in the media's eyes. Terrible. The market's, who wants a house? You couldn't get rid of them fast enough. You want to talk about there was too many to choose from? Like now? Back then you could have your pick of anything you wanted at 30, 40, 50, 60% off on the clip. Bad market? No, there's an opportunity in every single market. Even with elevated rates, we have an opportunity now, right? Tight inventory or wonky inventory, whatever it might be, there's always an opportunity. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I think the answer to it all, guys, when I was talking about that 635 micro markets, or 630, is just be the hyper local advisor. Be like literally the digital king, mayor, whatever, senator, whatever you want to call yourself of your town, of your zip code. Just own it and talk about every single thing that's going on in that space, okay? Local news, broker it. Business migration, what's happening with business? You guys are in one of the most unique markets because there's so much happening, and also this is a tourist destination. Las Vegas is a known commodity. It's an internationally known commodity. right? If we were selling in Omaha, it's different. Omaha's tourism sector is not anywhere near the same as Las Vegas's. Omaha's real estate market is going to work from within. Las Vegas works from outside. It works from within, of course. There's a strong nucleus of people that move up, move down, or acquire more, but there's people that come here. This has been the fastest growing city, or in the top 5, 10 for like what, the last 20 years? So this has its own unique bubble that it operates in. You guys can own it in terms of being like the local news broker. So again, talk about what's happening locally, what's happening with the mayor, things that kind of tie back to real estate, okay? What's happening with businesses? There's loads of businesses coming here. You guys always, this is always a positive beat right up here. Development, what's going on with developers, new housing stock, that type of inventory, what's stalling it out? Are the tariffs still impacting it? Does that seem to have washed over now? Talk about these things. And if you can't figure it out, research it. We all have to be good at our jobs. People say, I don't have time for this. I say, you don't have time to be good at your job? Be good at your job. If someone's going to buy a house from you for $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, shouldn't you know a few things? I would want the person selling me something that's so expensive to know a few things. So all of us can do it. And if all else fails, guys, there's ChatGPT, okay? Someone can figure it out for you if you don't want to do it. Be careful with it though, okay? That you don't just copy and paste, like read it, okay? Tourism, obviously you guys are unique here. Social issues, what's happening socially that's driving certain things, okay? And then deals. This one's the most important one. Should have put this in a different color. Talk about the deals or the wins that you're seeing clients get. Your clients, maybe it's your seller and something that they did. When a deal gets closed, it's a victory, okay? Even if it wasn't at the numbers that everyone wanted, it's a victory. A transaction happened. Let's talk about it. Share it, because nothing sells like a real story. It's tangible. Now, you might say, well, I don't have any recent deal to talk of. I'm in kind of a slump. You're part of a team that's doing deals every week. Leverage the team, leverage the brokerage. Our brokerage just had this deal happen. There's no rule against that. In fact, you should do it because it shows that you're a part of something bigger, right? So don't feel like I can't talk about it or I shouldn't talk about it. No, leverage anything. You guys got it? Any questions on this section? Everyone's feeling me here? Okay, so again, you're in a very unique market and this is a great opportunity. I want to give you, in terms of being that hyper-local agent, there's one other icon on you. I was going to give you 2 AI tools that I'm using that have been really effective for me. Now, mind you, okay, I might be Indian. I'm a tech idiot. I'm a moron when it comes to stuff. I'll push, just look. If you witnessed us trying to stream this presentation here, Joe saw it, categorical disaster, okay? We're lucky it's not showing, it might be showing up on the group downstairs' TV. I'm a moron with this stuff, an absolute idiot, so don't let the Indian skin fool you. These 2 tools have, I just adopted these a few months ago, guys. Take them. I'm an open book with everything. They've made my business so efficient, it's not even funny. Fixer AI. I reached out to a friend of mine that's like an AI guru, and I said, how do I get control of my inbox? Like sorting things out, whatever. This one alone is the best tool I've incorporated. FYXER.ai. It sorts everything in my inbox. When I go to bed at night, any email that comes in, there is a draft written as a response waiting for me to approve and send out. How does it know what to write? It studies the last 400 to 500 outbound emails to learn my language style, my slang, if I use the word bro, if I curse. It's incredible. It's not 100% every time. That's why you want to proof it, but it's gotten closer and closer because it keeps studying constantly. When you go in and make a change to a draft, it studies that and it says, oh, they like this word. They don't like that word, whatever it might be. It sorts everything out, what needs to be answered, what's action, what's marketing. I don't miss things now that come through there. But it's bought me back hours of my week. Because when I wake up in the morning and you see a long list, right? We get our coffee, some people doom scroll, some people sit down and look at their inbox, which is what I do. I read the news and look at my inbox. It would be daunting with the amount of emails that I didn't answer from yesterday and the ones that came in overnight. There's literally a draft written for every single one, ready to go out. And there's even more tools with it, but this thing was a game changer. Please use it. And I figured it out in a day. It's really easy. Just sign up for it. You connect it. It takes a couple hours. It'll go through all your outbound emails and learn. And then it's magic. And you'll be like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Any questions on this one? Okay, the other one is Motion. Motion has helped me. Motion.ai has helped me with project management and moving things around within my schedule when I've got certain tasks. I'm only using it at about 20% of its capacity right now. I just saw some new feature that they released. You can literally create AI employees through this. Like if you want a marketing assistant, your own in-house you can create one. so that it's looking for trends. It's basically acting like a human to do things for you on your behalf. You can create all the employees you want. People are laying off people right, left, and center. And I don't mean that in a like positive way, like people are losing their jobs, but because they're leveraging this. So Motion and Fixer, the two. Try them both, mess around with them. I think both of them have free trials. But my absolute favorite, like I said, it's changed my business, has been the email one, Fixer.ai. The other one that I'll share with you guys that I think you can do on this hyper-local thing and being this news authority is Loom. Has anyone heard of Loom? Videos.
Love it.
It's the best. Absolute best. And so easy. Loom.com, I think, is what it is. If you go to Loom, it loads right into your browser. Everyone's doing more video, but it uses the camera right off your device. And if you want to send something, it's so much more personal, right? Suppose you just took a client out to look at some homes. Instead of sending a follow-up email, send them a Loom video, which takes 30 seconds because they get to see you. You can be expressive. You can use your voice. You literally just push a button. It records it. You stop. It gives you the link. You copy and paste the link into an email. Bob and Sally, it was great taking you out today. Here's a 30-second video for you. And it gives them the link. Bob and Sally click that. I guarantee you they're going to be like, no agent's ever sent me this. This is so cool. They just sent me a video personally thanking me or saying that it was great to go out today. And they can actually stop the video and reply to a certain point. If you're explaining something, you can share your screen. If you want to go through this has bought me back so much time too, because phone conversations can go in so many different directions. You go on tangents. If you have things that you want to send out, you can be really productive. If you're doing outbound updates, suppose you want to update all of your prospects, but you don't want to send them a general thing like a CRM would do. You want to send them something personal. And they're going to be 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute. Click, record, stop, copy, paste, send, and just do this. Huge, huge efficiency changer. Any questions on that one? So you've used it, so I've got some testimony here.
Yeah.
But amazing app.
Send contracts and review contracts.
I think I've sent you videos, Darren. I've had stuff like go back and I use it all the time. I send out 10 to 15 of these a day. And if I was doing 10 to 15 conversations a day, it would take me a lot longer than that. And if I was doing 10 to 15 email exchanges, it just gets a little bit dull. Be different. Be a little bit more personal. Be a human, right? People love to see things, especially if you're able to make eye contact with them and put your personality behind it. Really what it'll be, though, is a differentiator because no other agent's doing it. Everyone's either too lazy or they just send the email or they rely on the CRM to send out some general cookie cutter update. Just be different. Okay. All right, so I told you guys visibility is going to be the whole currency, right? If the internet is a gigantic shopping mall, visibility is the only currency that matters. So every piece of video, every email that you send out, even if you're into billboards and bus signs, and they're probably coming at a discount these days. If you want to advertise on those, do it. Whatever it is, visibility is the currency, okay? The more you have of it, the better shot you're going to give yourself. Just remember that. Visibility, visibility, visibility. You have control over it. I can't control, again, who's going to work with you or how many escrows you're going to close next quarter. And I know we all have we have like mouths to feed, we have obligations. I get it. I'm in the same boat. Okay? I do sales just like all of you. I have to sing for my supper all the time. All right? But we do have 100% control. It'd be nice to go through a day and say, you know what? I did everything I intended to do today. That raises your confidence. That changes your swagger. You pick up momentum this way because it's all about visibility. Did I post a video? Did I send out the email to that database? Did I send out 10 Loom videos to past clients? Here's another one. Let me go back to Loom. Absolute hack. Anyone you've worked with since you got started in the business, do a client assurance Loom video for them. Pull up their house, see if it's done well. 9.5 out of 10 times, it's done pretty well. Okay? Maybe you just want to reconnect with them, but you want to do something other than sending them a stock-generated newsletter that's going to tell them cooking recipes and neighborhood gatherings, or the worst are the daylight savings ones. Don't forget to set your clock. I hope you're doing well. Call me when you're ready to sell. Nobody gives a shit, right? You know what they will give a shit about? Because they're reading so much negativity. These are for past clients. They're not going to do a deal with you right now, but here's how you can make sure that they stay with you. Send them some, hey, Bob and Sally, I just wanted to, and you're doing this as an actual camera video, right? It's right there off your desk. Just hit the button. The lighting's good, fine. Bob and Sally, I just want to tell you guys, I'm so glad that we got into that neighborhood when we did, because your home is done so well. I was looking at it the other day, and I just want to tell you guys, you should be proud of yourselves, and I hope you're all doing well. Done. Do you think they're going to love getting that message? You're not selling them anything. You're just giving them reassurance and reminding them that the sky's not falling, because we worry about the buyers and the immediate sellers right now so much with all that negativity and the media stuff. We forget about the people who have bought that sometimes get shaky, like, I don't know, did we do the right thing? This doesn't look so good. Everyone else is trying to sell on our street. No, give them some assurance, and again, you'll be that voice of reason and confidence. They're going to stay locked in with you because they need optimism right now. I think everybody does, right? So take that and use it. I try and do this with clients every quarter, even ones that we closed years and years ago, just touching base with them. I know they're not moving. I know they don't have another deal to do. It's not about the deal. I'm just trying to be a good person and a good steward of my industry and business. Okay. All right. I've got a section I could get into here, but I want to kind of open this up to you guys and answer some questions first and see. Otherwise, I can go down this concept of being undeletable, which you guys would be the second group I've talked to about this. I did this in a talk in Phoenix for a group of lenders for a private mastermind, and it seemed to have landed pretty well, which I'm happy to share with you guys, or I can email it to you. I'm happy to. But questions about what we've talked about so far, or what's working, what's not working. Darren, do you have a direction you want me to go in? I want to make sure that this is functional for you guys and a little different.
Now you got me interested.
Nobody wants to talk. Everyone's saying do this thing.
The big red words.
I know, right? And it's in red too. Scares the shit out of everybody. So, okay, I guess we're going down this pathway then. All right, I'm gonna just give you this. I created this framework. So I got asked to lead a mastermind. It was for Fairway Mortgage. I think did they have a presence in Vegas? Fairway, a little bit. Screw those guys. Okay. They brought me in, so I was nice to them because they bring me in to do a lot of stuff. But that tells you something, though, about how the industry's changed, right? It's a lot more collaborative. Darren's hosted stuff in here where he's brought in agents, and I don't know if today's even a day like that. Maybe is this just all virtue?
Mostly, yeah.
There's been days I've come in here, and it was a mix of a whole bunch of agents, and people are like, why would you invite? It's because it's all collaboration. There's plenty of business to go around. Everyone can learn and get better from one another. But Fairway Mortgage brought me in to do a talk with just their top producing branch managers, regionals, and salespeople about, they said, we like the word, being undeletable. They had another word that was a little more colorful, was like uneffable with, but they spelt the whole thing out. And so let's go with undeletable. How do we be undeletable in this digital age? Make sure that no one forgets about you or deletes you. So I created this framework, okay? So I'm gonna go backwards. So if you're writing this down or just making notes, undeletable is where you ultimately want to end up. I'm going to tell you what it takes to first be undeletable, then I'll tell you what it takes to be that thing, and I'll just go all the way back, and it'll end with a word that we talked about earlier. So, next one. If you want to be undeletable, which means no one's going to get rid of you and you are permanently fixated in this market, you have to first be irreplaceable. Okay? You have to be better than ChatGPT. You have to be better than Google. You have to be better than the AI-driven real estate agent or robot or whatever it's going to be. For lending, we have to be better than the automated version or experience that's offered online right now, which a lot of people opt for. And some people will take it, okay? But it's not for everyone. So you have to be irreplaceable. Oops, we jumped the gun there.
So
Don't worry about it. It's all right. It's okay. I can talk faster if you need me to. To be irreplaceable, you must be unforgettable, okay? You have to be unforgettable. Whatever it is that you talk about has to be unique. Sending Loom videos, unforgettable. Someone's going to just look at you so differently just from that tiny adjustment in how you communicate and how you stay connected to people, okay? So if you're unforgettable, you'll be irreplaceable, which will then make you undeletable. Okay, next. And if we're going to be unforgettable, you have to be viable. This one's one of the most important. You have to be viable. You have to have substance, gravitas. You have to be good at what you do. That's what I said. We have to be good at our job. So understand what it is you're dealing with. Be that news authority. You understand what's going on in local news. You understand what's happening in neighborhoods. You understand that there's a big new business coming in. You understand that that school is closing. That private school is closing in that area, and that's probably going to have an impact on houses in that zip code, right? Or whether or not families move into it or not. Have viability, which means you've got some market moxie and knowledge, okay? And to be viable, you have to be visible. So again, if you're visible and you guys are putting out stuff, it'll create viability in the marketplace, okay? Because they see you everywhere and they're like, oh, he or she actually has good stuff to talk about. I always see and hear from them. They clarify things for me. It's not as confusing. They're very optimistic. They're a light, okay? Very nice departure from all the negative shit I read online. That, with enough viability, visibility, enough viability, this plus this will give you this. You'll be unforgettable. If you're unforgettable, you become irreplaceable, which means no one's going to opt for the alternative. The alternative to all of us is the digital version. It's already happening. You guys remember when I was in here a few months ago and I showed you those headlines about Mr. Cooper and, Redfin being bought by Rocket Company. So it's already happening. There's going to be an alternative version to us, all right? But if you're irreplaceable, the alternative doesn't matter. But if we don't carry any of these things, you are replaceable because there's a better option than you. Does that make sense, guys? And then you become undeletable. That's your framework. It starts with visibility, okay? We can skip this one. Yeah, I'm going to pause there. So that's your framework. Now, there's some more stuff which I'll email. I'm going to actually record a Loom video for you on it, and I'll break down that entire hierarchy or that entire chain. And then Haley, I'll send it to you. You have everyone's email in here, and then you can just send it out to the entire group. I'll summarize the whole thing in like 3 to 5 minutes, and then everyone will have a little bit more specifics behind that framework. Did that framework make sense?
Yes.
Did it land with you guys? Okay, I'm 2 for 2 then, since I did it with the other guys just a few weeks ago in Phoenix. Okay, so I've tested it with lenders, and I've tested it with agents. We're good. I'll keep it. All right, questions now. Anything? Content styles, what's working, maybe what's not. Yes, brother?
Just going back because I haven't pulled anything up. What's the difference between doing something through Loom compared to doing just a video text or like a BombBomb video? What's the difference?
No real difference.
Okay.
I just like Loom.
Okay.
I never got into BombBomb, although it was a pretty popular platform for the mortgage and real estate space. I just got into Loom because it was so easy and it loaded in my browser right there. Like now it's just a button at the top of my toolbar. I just click it, it pops up, I say hit, it does a countdown, it goes backwards. There's also, the cool thing about Loom, which I'm sure BombBomb has also, but I know with Loom, suppose you record a 5-minute thing where you're explaining some HOA disclosures. And this is really important, but you didn't want to turn it into an hour-long discussion. Plus, you're only going to be able to talk to the husband, who then says, explain it to me, and then we can talk about it again on a Zoom with my wife 2 hours later. So now you're adding this all up. You're like, this is going to take some time. Why don't I record something, and then they can rewatch it? You can record it, and then you can pull up, before you're done with it, when you've actually ended the recording, the transcript will pull up. If you're like, I want to delete that one part, delete the actual lines, it'll cut that part out of the video. Okay? So guys, I'm telling you, it's idiot-proof. It's so easy to do. Just try that. Test it. Talk for like a minute and say, I want to cut out the last 30 seconds. Go in there, cut it out, and then watch it, and like, it's as if I never even said it. It's really clean. So I like it for that. I don't know if BombBomb does that, but to bring it back to you, you said like sending a video message through text. Fantastic. How personal is that? You took the time, you sent it. It was clearly for me. If you sent it to me, I'm going to think a lot differently of you than if I just got a general update. And it's different. It's not to say that the updates, guys, via email and the other routes aren't effective. It's just more personal, right? Because the thing that is going to contrast with the direction we're heading in will always be now human touch going forward, the human element. As technology gets cooler and cooler, and it's happening at a very fast clip, okay? So cool to the point where it is putting some professionals or service providers out of jobs. It's just inevitable. It's a cycle of business and innovation. But as that continues, there'll be less of the human element involved. So every time you can insert a human element, it's an instant differentiator, and it makes people feel good, right? Because there's emotion attached to it. There's a feeling. There's thought. There's sincerity. So yeah, however you want to do it, just do it. Great question.
I know the one thing BombBomb does is it compresses the video, so it makes it smaller and easier to send. But the other
As a media file.
yeah, it also notifies you when the person opens it and watches it.
Yes,
I don't know if Loom
Loom does. So Loom doesn't actually, Loom's just giving you a link to a media file that they house, or based on your account storage. So it's just the link, so you're not like loading the video. It's just the link. They click it and it takes them to a third-party site. But you get to know when they've watched it. You can actually see if they've rewatched it. And then they can also leave like if you're explaining something, and you can tell them, hey, I'm recording this video. Feel free at any point as you're watching this, when I explain these disclosures to you, to start typing in the comments section about whatever question you might have. And it'll actually tab it where it was in there. So when you go in, if you see it, and you'll get the notification on your email, so-and-so watched the video, so-and-so commented on the video. Every time they leave a comment, you can be like, all right, this person got into it. So let me answer those questions for them. Just an interactive way, and then it allows you to do business at any hour without having to repeat yourself over and over again. Other questions, guys, on anything efficiency-wise, because I wanted to do a little differently today. Normally I talk tactics, but I wanted to share with you guys some tools also. Yes?
Are you building content ahead of time, or are you being impromptu based on the market?
Both. There's stuff that I'll do if it comes right out. I was late on this on Friday, but I'm going to do it today, which is explaining what I did with you guys about this Powell cut, because he gave the commentary on Friday and the stock market took off. But I'm going to explain to everyone why this rate cut isn't going to be like the best thing for everyone potentially. right? Because there's people who get hurt in rate cuts. You know who gets hurt when rates are cut? Savers. Savings rates go down, CD rates, or what banks offer to incentivize people to save. Okay, so there's always winners and losers in everything. So I was going to do that. So sometimes when a big piece of breaking news comes out, I'll just take my phone and talk about it right then. Otherwise, I'm shooting once a week with my videographer who comes down and meets with me, and I call it content banking. So I'll probably try and knock out anywhere between 15 and 20-ish short videos, but I'll take those 15 to 20 shorts that I did. I'll take 10 of them and I'll expand on them and talk for maybe a little longer. Now I've got LinkedIn videos, because LinkedIn I can be more intentional. And then I might take 3 or 4 of those and talk, since I'm chatty, I'll talk for like 15 minutes. And now I've got YouTube videos from the same original groups of ideas. So you can take one idea and squeeze it into a lot of stuff. So I will content bank. You guys have a great option here, or resource, which is that you have your own in-house media team and studios team. I'm telling you, you can take it for granted. I tell it to you every time I'm here. Go to another brokerage. They're telling you guys, do your videos. And you're like, great, where do I do it? And they're like, you're on your own. Figure it out. Use your phone. Pull up a YouTube video. Hire a social media coach. All waste of money and time and resources. It's actually paid for and it's here. You can pop in there if you just create some discipline and structure in your day. You got an hour that you're sitting around, like that hour, if you're figuring it out daily or even if it's just once a week, go in there with 3 ideas and go knock out some videos. The resource, you don't even have to travel anywhere, you don't have to hire. This is all part of the service, right? Yeah, just utilize it, guys.
What platform do you use when you're banking them so that it automatically sends them out? Is there a platform for that?
My team sends them out. Okay. So we're not doing anything automatically. We're doing, like, she takes it, I schedule it with her, where you just use a spreadsheet and I'll mark it what day this one's going out. Is it going out on all the platforms or just this one or that one? And then she'll actually go in and do it. There is a platform, I don't know if anyone in here does, please yell it out, that I know you can load things into and schedule it ahead of time. I can find out for you.
Yeah, there are plenty of those. I can send a link
Yeah,
out to everybody.
there you go.
For the recap as well.
And that's a great idea, because if like the posting part is like, oh, I don't want to be bothered with this, it takes time, then just schedule it.
Well, it becomes inconsistent because when you start to get busy from all the posting, then now that goes to the wayside.
Yep.
But if you have something that's pumping it out consistently, then you can consistently.
Great idea, yep. And the consistency is the big thing, right? If you're with that visibility quotient I was talking about, guys, consistency. Don't just be visible for a week and then disappear. The platform's kind of like, there's so much competition for attention on these platforms. It rewards consistency. If you're consistent and you're showing up every week, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's not your best effort, but you have to get it done. You have to get it out there. Because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to post it. If you don't talk about that thing going on in your neighborhood or market, somebody else will. And if you keep waiting for the bags under your eyes to go away or your hair to be looking perfect that day, you'll never get it out. You won't, okay? I've joked about this countless times. I look like shit in most every video I post. Why do I know it? Because my mother points it out to me, because she's on Instagram, and that should worry everybody in here, because she doesn't even have a photo image on her icon. It's just like she's one of those silent stalkers, and she will say, like, you look tired. Are the kids okay? You look like you haven't slept in days. Why haven't you gotten a haircut? I'm like, did you see what I said about Powell? She's like, no, she doesn't care. So you don't care. Because guys, at the end of the day, here's the serious thing. What we have to, does everyone in here believe, like I said at the beginning, do you believe you're good at what you do? Yes. You do, right? What you have to say could help one person today. And if it does, then it was worth it. And if you hold on to it simply because of a vanity metric, because you don't like the way you look, sound, you're not feeling good, I don't feel like doing my job today, you're being selfish. Look at it that way. If I hold on to this, I'm actually being selfish. I have to share. You have an obligation as a steward of this industry. The industry is under attack. Okay? If you needed the wake-up call, like just read through the headlines over the last couple years. They literally want to put us out of business. They're saying that an automated way is better. That's why the taxi cab industry is out of business. The consumer experience turned to shit. Capital and investors saw that. They turned it upside down, leveled. It's gone. Right? They're trying to do it to our industry. So don't hold back and wait simply for the perfect time. Better done than perfect. You know what video is not making you any money at all? The one that's in your camera roll that you haven't hit publish on or loaded. Just load it. Put the damn thing out, okay? And it'll also just get you into a mode of not caring. The moment you stop caring and you're just putting stuff out, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. Don't put out shit, okay? Looking like shit, but But putting out relevant stuff is two different, like, that's okay. Looking like shit and putting out shit, that's bad. Don't do it. If you look like shit, man, I'm just gonna say something and it is shit, probably best you don't do it, okay? All right, what else? Other questions?
Arjun, do you ever repurpose content?
Yes. Give me an example of like what you're thinking.
So if you shoot evergreen videos, things that can relate, whether it's today or 6 months from now, do you ever repurpose that content, meaning that maybe you didn't get enough video content shot this week, so you go back and pull some of your older videos, repost those again, so at least you're still posting
Yeah.
engagement?
Here's the key, guys. If you watch anyone who's influential as a thought leader in real estate marketing, even like some of the most influential people we follow, if you really watch closely, they're talking about the same 5, 6, or 7 things over and over and over again. They just say it a million different ways. They're repurposing. You might have 5 or 6 things that you hammer on. That's your thing. You don't need to reinvent the wheel and say, I already talked about those things. What am I going to talk about now? And then you get analysis paralysis and you get frozen. Just say them over and over again, but say it a different way. Say it the same way. Doesn't matter. If it was like months ago, redo the whole thing in a different setting, wearing a different shirt, or maybe do it walking outside this time or right from your car. So there's repurposing in terms of actually like reposting and going with the same ideas. You can also repurpose, if I'm answering you correctly here, Darren, if I heard you right, where you'll record something. Let's just say I sit in front of a camera right in here and I want to do a market update, a 5-minute market update, okay, that I'm going to take that link and embed it into my newsletter and send it out to everyone in like the Summerlin area. This is my Summerlin market update. I'm going to do it in 5 minutes or less or something really quick. Out of that 5-minute video, if you watch it, there's probably some bits that you could extract and repurpose the 5-minute video. And here's a short clip, like that was a really good moment. It was just 30 seconds. I want to take that. Now I've got that for Instagram, right? And your editor can do that for you. So there's always different ways that you can repurpose and recut and recalibrate. Does that answer it, Darren? Yep. Okay. What else, guys? I want to be as helpful as possible here. Any ideas?
If somebody wanted to revamp their entire Instagram, where would you tell them to start?
Well, the first thing is your bio. It needs to be very clear in your name and in your bio who you help and what you do. If it's not clear, like everyone should do an audit of their social media. Like go on everything that you have, your website, your YouTube, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your Facebook. Audit it. Ask yourself, is it clear what I do and who I help? And on top of that, would I work with this person? If the answers aren't what they need to be, then do what you need to do to clean it up. Everyone needs to take stock. So that's the simple first step of overhaul, right? And then it should be clear like what this page is like I said, like who you help and what you do. Like if your page or profile is a resource for clients that are looking to buy in North Las Vegas, then everything should really speak to that. The photos should be about North Las Vegas. The things you're talking about, the stories you share, the video, the content itself. So there should be some consistency to it. But I think the easiest way to start is just to do the audit. Do the self-audit, and it's something everybody should do. Look at it and say, would I work with me? Is it clear? Many times people find that it's not clear. Like, I'm kind of saying a lot in here. It's kind of almost confusing. People are very confused, right? So if you look at, like, I'll just give you the example because it's in my head, it's mine. I've got my name and it says / the mortgage guru. So I have mortgage in there, and then guru because I'm Indian, I can get away with saying it, right? Real clever. Okay, so I've got that in there. So you know I do mortgages. And if you were unclear about whether or not I was Indian, now it's clear. Okay, and then who I help, I say helping buyers and agents win because I like to partner with a lot of agents and help in collaborations just like this. So I make it very clear help. And then the content is consistent to that. So that's what I would do. Start there. And you'll get off on your own from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's pretty much like the biggest stumbling block for people is it's a little bit incongruent. You know, what it is you do and what it says. What else, guys? Anything. This is good. Because I promise you, whatever you're asking is helping somebody else in here too. Any other thoughts, ideas? How about something that's working? Like maybe you did it and it really worked. Here's your chance to brag or show off. Okay? And don't worry about being proprietary about it. I guarantee you, you weren't the first to think of it. Somebody else did it too that's not in here. And share it because it might help somebody else out. Has anyone got something that's worked recently? Nothing? I really did need to get down here on Darren. I was like, we haven't brought him back in a while. Well, I'll tell you guys, the easiest thing, it goes back to what I was telling you about with kind of being that local news broker, just news hacking. Take like the simplest thing that does really well. It's been working well for me. It's a win every time I put it up. It gets more engagement, more views, more reach, more comments, more back and forth starting conversations. It's just taking the news article, clip it, and put it in there and talk about it. Because it's relevant. It's not just you talking about something, you're passing your judgment or comment or your clarification or truth speak about that headline, especially if it's a credible news source, because then you're like, oh, what is this person telling me right now? They're demystifying this for me. So try that. News hacking is the easiest way. It's been working well for a few years, and it seems to keep trending that way. Anything else?
I did have something that worked. I posted my last closing last week where they bought in a new community.
Yeah.
They were offering 3.99, and I got them $9,000 in closing costs. So I got a call over the weekend with a new buyer that wants to buy in a new community so that they can get that.
Fantastic.
Their dad's gonna list their property.
So you celebrated a win. You talked about something that was good happening in the marketplace. Good news sells, right? I know bad news sells when it comes to the media, but that's how they make their money. We make money when we help people, when we help families achieve this dream. So the good news is what's attached to it. The bad news certainly won't be. So that was really good. Well done. Keep doing more of it. And when you find something that's working, guys, stick with it. Just keep squeezing it for more juice. Okay? That's the whole key in business. The last thing I'll tell you guys, in the interest of getting everyone to act, I was at it was a panel discussion I watched. It was in the healthcare sector. And ironically, this guy that was on stage was a billionaire. He was a billionaire and like a couple of other multi-millionaires. So there's a lot of wealth on this stage. And I just saw an article that San Francisco now passed New York in terms of number of billionaires. So the concentration of wealth is insane. Now, I say that only because I always want to study people that made it to certain levels to figure out how their brain works. It's kind of like how I study the athletes that I was around, high performers, this guy from Spain or this guy from Korea. Like, what makes them tick? Why does that guy win when this guy doesn't, right? All things else being equal. Somebody asked this billionaire on stage in the healthcare sector, what would you attribute your success to? Kind of a general question, but then when he asked it, I'm like, yeah, I'm curious. Like, what would he if it came down to one thing? He says, guys, I am no smarter than anyone else that's in this room. In fact, I guarantee you if I took an IQ test with you all, I'd rank near the bottom. There's people in here way, way smarter than me. The only difference between me and maybe other people, he was really respectful, not to say like you guys as in you'll never get there. He says, me and other people is how fast I execute. By the time you have thought about it, mulled over it, talked to your spouse about it, gone halfway in, done the free trial, still thinking about it, testing it, put it on the back burner, waited to be reminded, I'm already off with it. Because once I have 70% certainty that something's going to work, I let the other 30 figure itself out. I don't wait for the 30 to be confirmed because I'll never shoot. The speed of execution is what separates them. And Darren, would you agree? I mean, you're an entrepreneur. You start, like if you are constantly stuck and frozen and overanalyzing it, you never get anything done, right? Because there's always going to be a reason to stall out. Just execute fast. Don't think, just shoot, okay? That's what I'll leave you guys with. So post the damn video, send out the email newsletter, restore that belief in this asset class and in yourselves that you guys are good at what you do. The sky's not falling, guys. This is going to be like an amazing market when this thing starts to tear. It might already be for some of you. Some of you might be having great years. Keep doing what you're doing. Those of you that have been feeling like you're in a little bit of a rut, recognize shelter is never going out of style. Everyone will always need a house. So long as human beings exist, whether it has to be government subsidized, rent subsidized, or people pay it through a mortgage of ownership, there'll always be a need for a roof over our heads. So if we know that, and we also know that competition's down, there's more market share for us, so let's go get it. Cool? All right, let's go.